Hello everyone, Kwon here. When I started collecting Skylanders, I quickly realized that Trap Team and Imaginators were the games that would require the most time and money to collect everything you need to complete the games to 100%. I'll save Trap Team for another time, but today I want to share with you that I've had the good fortune of having collected Imaginator Senseis of all elements and all battle classes. In this video, I'll give you some gameplay and impressions of all Senseis that I own. I hope you enjoy it. I've spent some time with all Senseis and I have unlocked most of their abilities up to the upgrade tree. We're starting off with the fire element, for which I own Flarewolf and Taekwondo.
Flarewolf is a blast to play with. Shooting enemies from afar with his bazooka is just as fun as blowing fire in their face up close. All these moves are, however, suffering from high startup or end lag. Therefore, for a character that seems to suggest you should zoom around the battlefield like you just don't care, you have to play him quite strategically or your enemies will punish you. All things considered, it's impossible to dislike a character that can bunny hop over his own rockets and use his parachute while raining down destruction on your enemies. Taekwondo was recently featured in my video where I analyze if Skylanders knew actual martial arts. As it turns out, Taekwondo does. At least he can do multiple spinning heel kicks in a row to burn his enemies, but also to create a wall of fire. You can then throw his shuriken through it for increased damage. The kick move does great damage up close and also has great mobility. That means you can use it at strategic positions to enhance your long-range DPS or as a way to get up close and personal to damage multiple enemies at the same time, which in turn also makes Taekwondo a sensei that fits multiple playstyles.
For the water element, I own one sensei. You guessed it, Kingpin.
Stay frosty. Has a nice ring to it.
Kingpin was actually suggested to me by Crash the Skylanders himself in a video we did together where he suggested new Skylanders for me. He was picked because I like the mobility of Spyro, and Kingpin does have a very effective dash move. Careful spacing is needed to maximize its damage potential as it hits multiple times and therefore is more lethal at the end of the dash when Kingpin moves more slowly. Ironically, what stands out the most about this character in my opinion is his insanely powerful main combo. If you manage to hit the fourth attack, you can put some real hurt on your enemies.
For the air element, I also own one sensei, Bad Juju.
That spirit is willing.
For some Skylanders, the upgrade tree can make all the difference. Bad Juju is such an example. I was initially going to say that she was slow and had a button mashy playstyle. Then I unlocked an ability that increased her speed significantly if you stopped attacking. Her funniest aspect according to me though is to place Junior at key positions and then strike all surrounding enemies with lightning.
The earth element is in my collection represented by three senseis, Golden Queen, Tritip and Barbella.
Golden Queen is a character that to me was not the most engaging to play as. She moves slowly, and while her deployable turret does potent damage against a single target, it gets destroyed way too easily. Her golden shockwave ability, however, is very powerful as it stops all but the more powerful enemies in their tracks. I would love to know from you guys if there's a particular upgrade path that makes her the most enjoyable to play as. Slow, sluggish, but oh so powerful. Tritip's charged-up baseball swing does tremendous damage even though it does leave you immobile for quite long. His other abilities also have very long startup animations. However, his fossil attack has a huge area of effect and his horn charge attack moves in very quickly and is just very rewarding to watch in general. I really get why this sensei is so sought after even though you get another Earth sensei in the starter pack.
It's crunch time.
Barbella has a very creative weightlifter character design and her weapon even looks like she stole it from an outdoor gym. Her secondary ability looks funny too as it conjures two hands that slaps your enemies in between them. Barbella's whole presence really screams that she wants to smack her enemies in the face, so it's very ironic that she is the most powerful when she fights from afar. Her third ability that creates a box deals as much damage as 4 strikes with her main weapon. She was more fun to play as than I thought, and her slow movement speed is my only complaint.
As the life element is my favorite element, I also own 3 senseis for that particular element. Those are Crash Bandicoot, Ambush, and Boom Bloom.
If you're interested in an in-depth analysis of Crash's moveset, you should check out my 300 subscribers celebration video. In short, he's another versatile Skylander with a very gimmicky ability using exploding boxes. Like so many other senseis, he has an attack that at the same time moves him at the quick pace in any direction you desire. This will come in handy when you want to switch between spin attacking your enemies up close and throw boxes in their faces from afar. Ambush has to have the most graceful attack animations in the entire game. His main combo can be cancelled at any time with his bamboo dash ability, letting him get into and away from combat just as easily. His coolest ability in my opinion is however the fact that his sword glows green if you stand still for a fraction of a second and also increases his damage, further emphasizing the visual impact of his stylish poses. Yes, Ambush is my favorite sensei so far.
Rooting out evil.
Boom Bloom stands out to me in that her entire moveset is effective at the exact same mid-level range. Her second and third ability also has great synergy as you can use her vines to draw in her sprouts for explosive AoE damage. Lacking any movement abilities, maintaining that optimal distance is the biggest challenge when playing her, making Boom Bloom a true spacing character.
Now we are halfway through the elements. If you like this video, perhaps you want to check out the other videos I have on my channel, and if you like them too, maybe you even want to subscribe since I release content every week. Alright, moving on to the next element, which is the magic element for which I own 1 sensei. Mysticat.
The master of mystery.
What I really like about Mysticat is the 6-limbed cat design and the fact that many of her abilities are centered around yarn. For a ranged character like her, her second and third ability really comes in handy. Her copycat can distract her enemies, and the very high movement speed of her decoy ability is great for quick getaways or when getting into the fight, as you can damage everything around you with an explosion attack. So far, I have to say though that I don't find her as engaging as other senseis, so I'm really looking forward to exploring her upgrade paths.
I have in my possession 2 tech senseis, Dr. Neo Cortex and Dr. Crankcase.
Cortex was also featured in my 300 subscriber celebration video. He is one of the most technical Skylanders I've tried so far. He has a lot of tricks in his moveset and lacks only a way to deal heavy damage up close. The upgrade path I've chosen lets him put down a sphere-shaped energy field that slows enemies and amplifies your main attack. His mines can be used very offensively, or you can drop them on strategic positions whilst gliding around on his jetboard. He really has a tool for every situation. Dr. Crankcase is another character that demands you progress through the upgrade tree to have fun with him. Once you do, however, he has one of the most unique movesets I've experienced so far. You can use his dash ability to splash away the slime you shoot from your main attack and also activate your Hatbot's self-destruct ability. This is a villain I assume is very rewarding to play as once you master him.
I own a single sensei of the undead element, Wolfgang.
Let there be rock. Aurora!
I'm a huge werewolf fan. We're talking Team Jacob for the win here, so Wolfgang was one of the first sensei I bought, knowing barely anything about him. While I do understand why they made him a bowslinger, there is just something anticlimactic with not being able to slice your enemies with his claws. If you disregard that though, his moveset is very enjoyable. Placing your speakers down, then using his slide to charge into or away from your enemies and hitting them with charged up arrows is great fun.
The light element is for me represented by a single sensei, Aurora.
The speed of light.
Aurora is probably one of the quickest senseis, as both her main combo and her somersault ability moves her quite far. The exploding swords she can drop takes a little too long to detonate, making them mostly useful on stationary targets. However, I really do like this nimble archetype, so to me the rest of her moves makes up for this shortcoming.
And finally we have the dark element. I'm very happy to have gotten my hands on Starcast.
A shot in the dark.
Just as with Wolfgang, I initially felt that Starcast's abilities lacked that oomph you would expect from a Skylander with his menacing presence. Then I unlocked the ability to stand on his giant shuriken and throw another giant shuriken at my enemies for very high damage against both single and multiple targets, and all was forgiven. With his clone ability that can distract enemies and the fast movement speed of his surfboard shuriken, Starcast has plenty of options to engage his foes at his optimal distance.
Those are all the senseis that I currently own. Now that you've seen my collection, is there a particular sensei that I don't own that you think I should try to get my hands on? Please let me know in the comments. That's it for this video. Remember to subscribe for weekly content. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Coming Clean and I will see you next time. Take care!